What is up, everybody? This is Stay Your Blade. The podcast you're about to watch is with DormStreams. Phenomenal streamer. Had a blast when we got a chance to talk. And sit back and enjoy. Thanks. I have to start my recording, otherwise I'll never catch everything when we talk about.
Sure.
Yes. We're check 1 2. We're good. All right. Anyways, Amazon is super cool with me because they literally are down the street from me, and I could pick up the package if I wanted to, but I'm too lazy, so I tell them to just drop it off. And I'm pretty sure it's the same person every time because they like hide the package and they put it away.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, yo, you're getting like pretty creative. They had I kept my snow shovel on my front porch for the longest, and they would just put it behind the snow shovel. I'm like, you're genius.
Nice.
I love you for
Tucking
that.
it into bed.
Yes.
Mr. Amazon being so gentle with your package. That's really nice.
When I had bought the Go XLR, they left it on the front porch, and I'm like, please God, let that be there when I get home. Please. You can steal anything else. I have underwear sent to this place. You can steal the underwear. I don't care. Just don't steal the please. The Go XLR is too precious to me. Please, nobody made here.
Underwear is important. You got to take care of underwear too. Stay on your underwear game, everybody. That's my big piece of advice. Stay on your underwear game.
MeUndies for the win.
Yeah.
See, I think that's what your next step is you have the patterned shirts, and I need the patterned underwear to match.
Patterned underwear, yeah, and then I can just TOS, but on Twitter I can just go full pattern. If I could get like matching underwear with a button.
Oh my gosh, done.
Be game over.
Done.
Yeah,
that would be the perfect way to go. So your Twitch name is DormStreams. Your name is Dormy.
Yes.
Is that correct?
My actual, like, my real life name?
No, yeah, I would assume that you just call it Dormy.
Yeah, Dormy, Dormo, any sort of weird iteration of the word dorm I've been called. Drom, I even get sometimes. So yeah, so I've had every iteration of it.
I've had Stay Your Blood. I'm like, that's not it.
Nice.
That's not it.
That's awesome.
I'm like,
it's
all
like
right.
some sort of like European variation. I like it.
Yeah, or Slay Your Blade. I'm like, it's a T. It's a T, guys. I promise. So we'll start kind of from the beginning from you.
Sure.
When it comes to streaming, what got you started on Twitch?
So I don't remember really. Like, that's a bad answer, but so I remember knowing about Twitch when it was Justin TV. Like before Twitch.tv was a thing, it was Justin.tv. The first ever stream I ever watched was it was a marathon of, I think, Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh, nice.
It was like someone had just put up, this was like way early in the days of like before there was legality and stuff. So I knew what it was then, and then like I was just really into Don't Starve. And I remember just like looking for people playing Don't Starve, and I guess I Googled or whatever, and I remember the first streamers I ever watched were like Don't Starve streamers. And then people like Kind of Funny, who is like Greg Miller and a bunch of people formerly at IGN who I really enjoyed watching there. They sort of made the move over to Twitch, and then that was when it was like legitimized for me in my head. So I'd say I started somewhere in between there, and it was really one of those things of like when the PS4 first came out, one of its big functionalities was that you could stream straight from it, right?
Yeah.
Like you didn't need a PC, you didn't need OBS, you didn't need a capture card, whatever. And so DormStreams literally came from me being bored in college in a dorm and having this functionality, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's hang out. So that's really, it was very just organic how it started. It was really simple.
I like that. Yeah. I feel like everyone's kind of had the same thing with Twitch. Like, I was bored, I found this thing, and I decided why not. And I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, that's no one was like, I wanted it to be the next Ninja, and you're like, oh okay, now that's a thing. Right. But back in the day, people were like, I just really like to play video games.
Yeah, this was before I knew anyone was like crushing it on Twitch.
Right.
I'm sure people were, but I wasn't aware of them at the time. It was more like just a smaller thing for me.
What around what year did you start streaming?
I started in 2015.
Okay.
So I was in college. I was a sophomore in college then, and then it was sort of spotty between like 15 and 17 because that was like the bigger part of my education and like all that kind of stuff. So it was very hit or miss.
Yeah.
I would stream more during summer than when semesters were going, things like that. So like really started streaming pretty regularly in like 17, somewhere in 17.
Okay. Yeah, I think that in about 2015 I was about the same thing. It was real spotty, and then at 2017 I was like, I'm gonna get real serious about this. And I think it's good to finally kind of step into that realm of like trying to be serious about it, but at the same time trying to have fun with it still, because I feel like
sure,
if you still have to try to have fun. I mean, most people are like, I'm doing this as a job, and you're like, okay, well, how many viewers do you have? 3. And you're like, okay, that's not a job, bud. That's struggling.
Right.
That you're struggle busting right now. So,
Right.
So when it comes to streaming, do you feel that you're going to turn this into a long-term thing, or is this just something that you enjoy doing on the side?
It's kind of strange because I never really thought about like where the stream was heading before around probably last year. It was a lot of I was working at a design agency. I'm a designer, and I was working at an agency at the time, and it was very much I'm gonna come home, hang out, play games, and then go to my day job.
Okay.
And then about let's see, it was like fall of last year. I transitioned to freelance, so just working from my own home.
Yeah.
And that's when it sort of became more of a thing, and that's also just happened to coincide with like the community being really active and all that sort of just happened to go together. So it's definitely I still love design. Like design is like a huge passion for me, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I could definitely I could see it going longer term, or I could see easily just like falling back into if I get a job in an agency, going back to this is my side hobby. So it's really I just do it for fun. Sometimes it helps pay rent and things like that, but ultimately it's a fun outlet for me.
That's awesome. And I think that it's important to at least keep your, like keep your head about it. You're like, oh, okay, I can pay bills possibly with this, but it would be more of a, you'd have to dedicate a lot more time, I think, to it. And most people aren't ready for that yet. They're jumping into it like, I'm gonna do 7 days a week, but they don't realize that 7 days a week after about 5 months, you're like, oh, this is a lot of time. Like
it is.
I can't sleep,
Right. Yeah.
When you started off, what was your schedule like? Was it pretty hectic, or was it like, did you try to jam as much as you could into it?
No, when I started, it was very much I have no assignments for the week. All right, let's stream Shovel Knight for 2 hours.
That's awesome.
And that was all I would do for the whole week. It was like, all right, Tuesday was my day. I'm good.
Yeah.
There was definitely no like it wasn't even trying to grow something, right? Like it wasn't a concerted effort to do anything
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
It was just, all right, my roommate gets back at 9. I got out of class at 5. Let's pop on and play some games with some people and then pop back out. It was a lot of just like casual hanging out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say that like it sort of still kind of has that vibe, or at least I hope it does, where it's like let's just get together and hang out.
Yeah.
But definitely back when I was the dorm, it was like going back and watching videos from them, because I still have a lot of those streams, is like terrifying to look at now. It's so mortifying just to see how like lax I was with everything. I was like I was doing the weird thing, which it wasn't as faux pas then as it is now, of like greeting people coming in if they were lurking. I'd be like, oh hey, I see a new name, what's up? And things like that, which of course over the years a sort of Twitch etiquette has sort of formed. So that was before I knew any of that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Any of those kind of things.
But
yeah, going back and watching those are terrifying.
Yeah, I have at least 1 or 2 clips, I think, from my 2015, 2016 years. And I'm like, every time I'm like cringing. I'm like, oh no, why did I do? Like the worst stuff is like the office that I'm in. I live in my house, my family's house, and the way I have my desk, if someone walked behind me in the door, it was you could see straight into my house, and I'm like, this is just a bad, like, why did I do this? And changing everything, and now no, if someone walks in, the door's all the way on the other side, so no one can see me, no one can walk straight into the frame. I would have people like walk through in like their underwear, and I'm like, what are you doing? Close the door.
Right, yeah.
So when it comes to streaming, what do you feel is something that you've kind of carried from your real life to stream life that you've used to grow your stream?
I think ultimately this is a very easy question to answer because graphic design is
Hmm.
like, I love the meme. It's like graphic design is my passion and it's in comics hands, but like it really is like a passion of mine, and
Hmm.
that has not only has design influenced like the way the stream looks and BRB screens and motion graphics and all that fun stuff, but it's also sort of influenced back. It's made me like stream has made me be able to like talk to clients easier, and I've put a lot of stuff from the stream into my personal portfolio because they started off as silly. I want to try this method or whatever. It's a lot of like experimentation
Hmm.
on the stream that I really enjoy because I have full control over it, and that has sort of informed my portfolio, which then informs the stream. It's a very like hand in hand relationship. So absolutely, just like my design background has certainly helped with a lot of different things, whether it's promoting events or like big streams or whatever, or doing panels or whatever, things
That's
like that.
that's awesome. I have zero background in design. I just throw shit together and I'm like, it looks pretty. I'm gonna put that up. That works for me, you know.
Listen, that's not far fetched from what I do for a living. It's just I can bullshit about it a little bit better maybe than the next guy.
Do you
Um,
do you do any of your design work on stream, or do you usually, since it's like client based, you can't really do that kind of stuff?
I've never done client work on stream. I
Mm,
have done like, for example, this. It happens to be right here. This sticker that I did for, I don't know if it's in frame or not.
yeah.
That I did for St. Jude when we did a St. Jude charity stream. Like I designed the whole thing on stream, and then like people who donated a certain level could get it and all that kind of stuff. I've done things like that before.
Mhm.
I usually keep those two lives pretty separate as far as, you know, I first of all legally I'm probably not allowed to show client work if it's in the process, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like just for my own personal benefit of keeping the two things separate, as
Yeah.
much as they inform each other, I try not to bring like jobs and client things into the actual streaming life.
That makes sense. Yeah. When it comes to like your outside life, because I'll give you my example. So my outside life and my stream life, I'm pretty I close those both off completely, like
Mm.
to the fact of, you know, my stream life is I'm just Stay Your Blade. But outside here, you know, I'm, you know, myself, I'm my, you know, my own person. Do you separate those two lives so that you have that nice being able to leave and kind of shut your stream life down, or do you kind of bring your whole community into your own life?
I would say it's a little mix of both. I'm not super like guarded about like my real name and things like that. Like people know it, but I'm also not like, hey, this is my real name.
Yeah.
But even with like community stuff, I'm pretty open. I'll let people know if like I've had a stressful week at work and not gonna be able to stream because a lot of times those do end up influencing each other, right?
Yeah.
Um, like if I have a busy week, then I may not be able to stream, and I want people to know that. As far as like turning off, it's interesting because streaming is always definitely like yourself turned up to 11. That's what they always say about like wrestling gimmicks. The best gimmicks are yourself turned up to 11.
Hell yeah.
Um, and so like that's kind of a mantra I've taken on, but I'm not so much like a character or something where I feel like okay, I've shut off. To the point now where I will often even be exhausted but stay up 2 or 3 hours longer, just kind of winding down after a stream. But it's definitely not a close the door, I'm off now kind
Yeah.
of moment. Um,
Do you find it's hard to stay away from your stream too long? Like you can't take more than a couple days off, or are you pretty good about staying your consistency with your schedule?
I would say there's definitely like I just moved
Mhm.
apartments like last weekend, and even then I only missed 2 days, I think, uh, to move my entire life. So I definitely try to prioritize like streaming as much as I possibly can. I don't feel bad. I don't really have like a regret if I have to cancel stream or if I'm not feeling it. I feel like the stream will be better off if I don't force myself to stream in some cases. But for the most part, I really enjoy streaming, and it's always been sort of that hobby sort of feeling for me. So I've never really had the thing of like, oh, I
Yeah.
have to stream, or I dread streaming. I haven't dreaded streaming in a long, long time. So for me, it's usually a get to, right? Like I get to get on and stream for a little while, or I get to have the night open or whatever. But if somebody's having a birthday party or whatever, I will absolutely just cancel stream. That's fine.
See, I like that because I feel like what people do is they're like, no, I'm not gonna live a real life. I'm just gonna live on stream, and then you miss out on so many things that friends, family, anything like that. I think that it's important to have that balance, and if you don't have that balance, you end up burning yourself completely out, and it's horrifying.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Dead saying you miss things and you burn out. Yeah, you burn out really quickly, and you sometimes you don't even realize you're gonna burn out. And it just happens. Have you had any type of burnouts?
I've not had burnouts with streaming in particular. I've had a burnout with a game before. Back in, I want to say 2017, late 2017, early 2018. I was playing a lot of PUBG.
Okay.
A lot of PUBG and a lot of Overwatch. That was sort of the main thing I was playing. I was co-streaming a lot with my buddy Team Liddy. And she and I were playing that pretty much like 4 or 5 nights a week. And just doing those 2 games. And it was great for 6 months. But at some point I was just starting to not enjoy the game and I was being harder on myself to be good because I had seen everything there was to see from the silliness side of it. So I was like, I got to improve. Yeah. I've never been a good gamer, so that never worked out. So it was one of those things of just like, it slowly started wearing away at me, and I had to just completely shut that off. And it was just like, all right, I'm not playing PUBG anymore.
Yeah.
So I've definitely had it happen with a game. I've not really had it happen with stream. And I think I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of friends in stream who I can sort of bounce off of, even if I'm playing a game that doesn't necessarily click, or if I can tell the game isn't doing well, or whatever, like not even doing well from a stats point, just like not the people in the community aren't responding to it or whatever. I have an open enough community where I can say like, hey, that didn't work. I'm sorry. We'll move on. I never feel really forced to like apply a game or certain situation to stream. It's just me hanging out. So luckily I've not had burnout with that aspect of it yet, but definitely I've had burnout in some cases when I release a stream.
Yeah. I think I kind of feel the same way with Overwatch. That was my game of choice for a very, very long time, to the point where I was able to mimic the voices of like Reinhardt, and I would scream as Reinhardt for so long that I think I got sick of it. I was like, oh, this is fun. But then, you get into like competitions and whatnot, and you, as you said, you would judge yourself. You're like, I could have done this better. I could have done, and you like rewatch your streams. You're like, that I could have done that better, and I could have done that. And you're like, I'm not having fun with it. So, who are you playing as on Overwatch?
My mains are, well, they were. I haven't played Overwatch in some time, but Diva, Zenyatta, and Sombra. Those are the 3 that I always played.
Did you include yourself into the Sombra ARG when they were doing that?
No, I didn't. I didn't really know about it until after it was over. That was sort of when I was like getting into Overwatch, I guess. But it's really cool from what I've seen about it.
Yeah, I was a part of this like mass. It was like 300 of us on a Discord server trying to figure out the ARG, and that was like a month of no sleep. It was a month. I'm like singing for the computer. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, okay, what is this? What is this? And I'm like trying to figure it out. I'm like, oh, I found this number. You guys, did you add in this number? It was like, I felt like I was a hacker myself. I'm like, what am I doing? What? Yeah. I'm like, it's for a game, guys. It's not that big a deal. And people are like, it's real life. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right then.
Yeah. Something similar happened with me, not in a game aspect, but when Kendrick Lamar dropped the album Damn, there was a big theory going around that he was going to drop a second album like the next week at his Coachella performance or whatever. Because there were all these signs about like the entire album had a red aesthetic. And it was like, there were all these signs about red and blue in the lyrics and in the cover art and all this kind of stuff. And people were like on Reddit, just like picking apart every lyric and everything. And I was in. I fully believed it. I was like, he would pull some shit like this. So I know that feeling for sure. And then it didn't happen. And I still feel like, it sucks. I wish it had. But yeah, that feeling can sort of like sweep you up and take you away in places that you didn't really expect.
Yeah. I feel like the excitement of the ARG, of the actual like being put into this whole thing is awesome. Then you get to that point, you're like, there's no payoff at all, and then you just want to throw stuff.
Right.
You're like, why did I do this to myself? How does Dorm deal with crazy fans like me? I don't know. How do you do it?
How do I deal with crazy fans like Tracy? Mostly ignore. I wouldn't have read that myself. That's your channel, it's your decision. No, if you want to like talk about trolls, we can. Trolls are interesting. We actually had this discussion last night. Yeah, Tracy. We had a discussion last night of like how do you approach trolls, right? And a lot of it is insta-banned or not even like worrying about it. That's probably the easiest way to take it. But sometimes you're in a certain mood and you want to play around like a cat plays with its prey sometimes. So I think that's totally healthy if your community can come to expect it. But other than that, it's just like immediately get rid of them. Like Tracy's banned in my chat, so she's not. That's a joke, but
so what is it, like 80-20? Usually 80% of the time you're like, I'm gonna ban this ass, but then 20% you're like, I might play with this person.
It really just depends on what they say and if I think I can play off of it. Like a lot of the times it's the same 3 or 4 like things. And those are all just like, all right, just get out of here. You weren't even creative. But if somebody comes in and is like bizarre enough to make me think like, what the hell did you just say? Then I might play with them a little bit and just like see where that's going, because it might be worth it. I mean, there's some moments that have been clipped of there's this one troll in specificity that comes back once every 3 months in my chat for whatever reason. Like it's the same guy. We know it's the same guy. He originally came around and spoiled Assassin's Creed Odyssey. He didn't. He was wrong. Like what he said would happen just didn't happen. I'm assuming there are multiple endings, but anyway. So we banned him for that, and then he like comes back and is like, that video of you crying at me spoiling Assassin's Creed Odyssey has gotten me 3 million views on YouTube. And we're like, wait, what? And so we all did Googling, and of course it was a farce. There's not even like evidence of any of this. And so we all called him out and we like sorted by views. And then like he keeps coming back. He's like, oh, that video of you crying. And I'm just like, whatever. So that one we always like play around with, and it's just like, oh, what's up? This guy's here again.
Oh, that's the asshole.
Yeah, this guy. But there are clips of me just being like, I must be gorgeous because you keep wanting to come back and see my face with different accounts and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
But that's the easiest way to play it off, is just to make it seem like they're adoring fans. So that's the way I normally do it.
My favorite one is they're like, you're fat, and I'm like, really that's it, that's all you got? I'm like, bud, come on, I've been hearing this since I was like in the 3rd grade. I want people to understand this. If you come in and tell me I'm a fat boy, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care, because I love being fat. It's awesome. You go do your keto diets and your hot yoga, and I'm gonna go eat a burger and be happy with my life. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Trolls are much more fun when they're original. They're never original. That's the problem. Never.
True. No, like I've gotten the wacky troll that's just like says something so bizarre that everybody is just taken off guard. And
you're like, what?
Yeah, like those are the fun ones. Yeah, I totally agree with Czech. Like it's the ones that, like you said, it's just like the everyday fat jokes and like the racist stuff and the homophobic stuff and all that kind of stuff. Like that's just easy to ban and get rid of. But yeah, when they say something that's like just so bizarre you have to read it, then that's when they're fun.
My favorite is I've had a troll donate to me just to say something, and to think that it was going to be like, because I don't have what are they called, where it reads the
text
sentence, text to speech or whatever. I don't have that because I purposely don't have that. But they would like put something and they would think that it was going to read it, and it doesn't. And I'm like, well, I got your money, so bye.
Thanks for the coin.
Yeah, thanks for the $5. Click. So, when it comes to Twitch, what are some like, what's the content that you're looking for usually? If you're scrolling through, like, what's something that you're looking for to watch?
It's sort of shifted for me. When I was first getting into it, it was all just like game based, right? Like, hey, I like this game, I wonder if other people are streaming it. And that's happened a couple of times, especially with God of War last year. I met a few new stream friends just from like, I'm super excited about God of War, I just beat it, I want to see people's reaction to beating it, all that kind of stuff. So I was like super duper excited about that. But normally it's community. Like I will I sort of seek out and latch onto really friendly communities. So for example, like I will a lot of times now it seems like I will find new Twitch friends on Twitter or through like hosts of other friends and things like that. I don't really go I have so many friends on Twitter on Twitch now, it's like hard to go to all their streams anyway.
Yeah.
So I rarely at this point at least find myself actively searching for new streamers. Instead it's either word of mouth or seeing like, oh hey, this person I really like really loves and retweets and talks about this person. Oh, I'll go check them out. Or
Yeah.
I'm with a buddy and we go raid and they have a great raid response and their community seems really nice. It's a lot more about the community and the person for me now than really the game. I'll watch anybody play anything really,
Yeah. Yeah.
or do art or do just chatting or whatever if the community's nice and if that's there. So it's really actively about like positivity and being welcoming and that kind of aspect of Twitch.
I think that's the important thing. Sometimes because I don't really, when I'm watching my friends, I'm not really paying attention to the game. I really don't give two shits about the game half the time, unless it's a super interesting game or something. But most of the time, I'm like, cool, whatever. So what were we talking about? We were talking about video games on another platform, or we're like, I got into a conversation with someone about what was it? It was Black Mirror for like 30 minutes, and we weren't even paying attention to the game. They were like playing, but they weren't really even paying attention to half the shit was going on. And I'm like,
sure,
perfect. I love this. Like this is the way, because it's just basically like shooting the shit with your friends who are sitting on the couch with you while you're playing video games or whatever.
Right.
I think that's the aspect that most people don't get. Like they come into the stream and they're like, I'm just gonna play video games and I'm gonna kick ass at video games. You're like, yeah, okay, cool, but can you talk to a camera?
Right.
Can you talk to a bunch of people? No. Okay. Well, might not be for you though. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
When it came to streaming, what were some of the things that were hard for you to like start doing?
I would say early on, it was a lot of learning how to chat in sort of dead air.
Yeah.
So my dad used to be a radio DJ.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And when I was in high school, actually, my first job was like event DJing, so like doing weddings and things like that. But I hardly ever was on the mic. I always let him do that because that was kind of his shtick.
Yeah.
But I very quickly learned from like the radio background and stuff like that. I sort of knew that I had to fill dead air, but I'd never really done it before because that's something. If you don't record yourself talking, or if you do, if you're just chatting with your friends, that's something you don't actively do. Is just fill dead air. You would seem kind of insane,
Right.
to just sit there and talk and talk and talk and talk and never let anybody in. But I, when you first started streaming, or when I first started streaming, sorry, of course there was maybe one or two people, and it might just be me and my roommate sitting next to each other, and we're the only two people in chat.
Right.
So like there was a lot of those early days. There was a lot of silence breaks and just like, okay, like I'm watching back now and I'm just like, okay, say something, please say something, say anything, talk about anything, please say something. And so that was something I kind of got used to and got better at, of course, naturally.
Yeah.
I would say that was probably the biggest struggle, and then just being like comfortable with my personality and letting my personality show and not trying to be, I don't know. I was never like the sort of wacky, like, oh, hey, what's up? Like I was never that sort of streamer, but
Right.
and that's, that works great for those people. I'm not dissing that, but
No.
that was never really my shtick. But I definitely became just more comfortable with myself and just being my own personality and just being like generally positive and things like that. So I would say just learning to be myself on camera, on a mic while playing games and not focusing on the game and then saying something and then focusing on the game when it paused,
Yeah.
But like filling dead air and becoming myself, I think were probably the two things that I learned really early on.
Do you feel like there's a lot of streamers out there that haven't been able to master that yet, but still try to stream?
I would say so. Like I try to view the positives of everybody's stream, even if somebody's just starting out. I think a lot of the scary thing is sort of having the first few people in chat and being like, oh crap, somebody's here. I gotta be on.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of, and that's a feeling I certainly get if someone, comes through with a big raid or whatever. That's that sort of like, all right, let's turn the gears on. I gotta convince people to want to be here for 30 seconds or whatever. And then you can kind of drift back into yourself. But yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with early on, and I think it's only human to just not know how to talk for miles. Or I see a lot of people when they first start streaming, and I think this is totally fine too. But they emulate a lot of people that they watch.
Yeah.
So you can watch somebody and say they're a part of someone's community that's big, say like Ninja or somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and you can sort of see the things that they're doing that person would do on their stream, or like the way they're talking about things or the way they're describing things or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think as you start streaming more, your natural self just kind of takes over.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a very character stream, like Dr. Disrespect or someone like that, that's super like gimmicky, then I think naturally you will just sort of get out of that emulation phase and get into yourself.
I think it's okay to emulate for a little bit because it gets you into a comfortable spot where you can like, kind of be like, all right, well, this person does this, so maybe if I do this enough, then I'll get comfortable with doing it, and then I can mold it to whatever. Because I can say right now, there's probably 2 or 3 streamers that I've like religiously watched, and then I took what they did in their persona and then kind of molded into what I do, and it worked. Was there anyone that in particular you were talking about some people from IGN? Was there anyone else that you watched on like a religious basis that molded your persona?
I would say probably not like at the beginning. I wasn't really it was weird because I was watching streams sporadically, right? Like it was sort of before Twitch kind of became itself in a way with like, you show up and there's a community of people that are there and all that kind of stuff. I would say the person I was emulating most back in the day, and I think I still do probably somewhat unconsciously, is Greg Miller.
Okay.
Greg is someone who I pretty much always like. I loved his content. I loved his personality. I loved his positivity. He calls everyone like in the Kind of Funny community their best friends and like all that kind of stuff. That sort of, I don't think there was anything, and maybe early on it was more apparent than it is now. I don't think there's any one specific thing that I'm like, all right, Greg does this, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It was more just overall approach, right? Like of being positive instead of being like a heckler kind of streamer or being like sarcastic or whatever. I just knew that I responded most to that sort of positivity, and that's kind of something that I'm still trying to emulate, I guess.
No, I like that. I like that. I'm not really much into the whole the idea of like trying to be a quote unquote like toxic streamer. I feel like it works for some people, but I'm at the mindset of, if I spread enough positivity in the world, like it's going to turn the world into a better place. I don't really enjoy sitting through negative people's streams because I'm like, I don't understand it, I guess.
It seems like it'd be exhausting to me.
Right.
Like just keeping that on the whole time is like, can you not just let yourself enjoy something? Like, and maybe they enjoy that sort of toxicity, maybe it's like that weird, like negative feeds into a positive energy for them. But
Yeah,
I've never understood that either. That's something I've never really been able to wrap my head around.
well, and I mean, I always use this example is Tyler One, who is he's the quote unquote toxic streamer, but here's the thing is I saw him outside of streaming last year at TwitchCon, like going home because he was on the same flight as me. And he is the chillest, quietest, doesn't really even talk more than a whisper. Like the dude is quiet as quiet can be. And he was talking, I think his girlfriend or whoever he was with, and he was just like, yeah. And then he would like, and then he went to sleep. He wasn't talking very much. And I'm like, this is not the guy I'm thinking. Like this doesn't match his, like I had said before, like he gets off a stream, he shuts it off, and that's it.
Right.
And that's fine. Like. Yeah, there's a audience for toxicity. I think that it's a good thing to have those people in the world to have this toxic communities, because the toxic communities are not a bad thing. It's not like they're not promoting bad things as such. They're not promoting like racism and stuff. Like I don't ever hear from Tyler One that he's promoting any sort of like really bad shit. But he's just a dude that likes to scream at his game. That's fine. I have that in me too, but I'm just not like that all the time.
I think there's a difference. I admittedly don't know a lot about Tyler One. The only thing I know about him is that he did like that really problematic cosplay of the lead character that one time.
Yeah.
But like other than that, I admittedly don't know much about him. I think there's a difference between like a toxic community though and being able to laugh at like your own sort of saltiness. Like rage quit, to do a YouTube example, like rage quit, like Michael from Achievement Hunter doing Rage Quit.
Oh yeah,
he is absolutely just yelling at the game and being frustrated, but it's all in jest, right? Like everybody knows that the point of that is just to be like, oh, this is so silly. Like he's turning on that sort of mode. So I kind of see what you're saying there, but I think there's a difference between that and like a toxic community where I've seen people firsthand be raided with a toxic community and then just had the most awful shit said about them, or had like racist or problematic things hurled at them from those communities. So I don't know if I would go as far to say like is that they are a good thing. I think they are for certain people that may not be on Twitch otherwise. That is just not my shtick at all.
Yeah, I what is it's Bruno says there's an audience for those toxic streamers, but they don't really have much room to grow outside of Twitch. I agree. It is very hard because Twitch is like its own little rodeo of things, because you can be your own person on Twitch and do whatever you want to do within guidelines, of course. But at the same time, if you are a toxic person, you're not going to grow massively outside of the platform unless you're, like I said, the Tyler ones of the world, which is not common. There's only one of him. There's only one person like him, and he's been banned off of Twitch like 3 times. So there's that. And like that's what I'm saying is there's things that it's okay to have, rage, because it's not a huge, it's just an emotion. As long as it doesn't turn into something like you were saying where people are raiding into another stream and then just ripping this other streamer apart for no reason. That's a different that's a whole nother ball game that definitely would not be flying in my books. When it comes to the toxic streamers, though, I think that it's okay to have those people, because then it basically bottlenecks everyone into that. If you're a toxic person and you watch a toxic streamer, you're not gonna feel like you need to go into another stream. You're just gonna go to the person that that you can be toxic in, and that's fine. Stay there.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see that for sure. And I think like there's a difference between like there have been clips of me, like especially in Dark Souls, where it's like I am visibly frustrated and salty and whatever, but the whole time, everyone, including myself, I'm laughing at myself, right? Like I'm mad, but I'm also aware of the situation, where I think that's the difference between like something like that and then starting like to get really mad at the game and break your own desk, or yell slurs of some sort or things like that. Like they're definite differences. And so I just think that's sort of the approach, is like, as long as everybody kind of gets that even I'm gonna laugh at this 30 minutes later, then I think it's fine.
Yeah, you said Dark Souls and I instantly blacked out for a second. What happened? I hate that game.
Yeah, that game does that, huh?
It's the bane of my community is like, you should play Dark Souls again. I'm like, I don't want to break a controller. Please just stop asking me. It's on my computer, and I'm like, it's on my Steam, and I want to open it up like again and try it. But at the same time, the last time I played it, I bit my controller so hard because I was trying not to yell, and I bit my controller, and there's a mark on my controller where my teeth were at.
You bit it? No, I thought you said you bent it.
No, bit it. I was like this. Trying to not yell because it's like 1 a.m, everyone's asleep, and I'm like, I'm gonna break this controller right now. And then now my controller has bite marks on it. I'm like, never again do I want to play this game because of this. Like,
maybe just don't bite your controller next time.
No, that was the only response I could have. It was either that or get up and flip a desk. That was just, that game frustrates me so much, and I don't get it.
I made it to the final boss on that game, and I stopped. I quit because I got so frustrated with it. And then recently, I made it a sub goal for an anniversary stream that I still have to fulfill. That I had to play it again and try it again. So,
just beat the boss and then close the game.
Yep, beat the final boss and be done with it. That would be such a fulfilling experience. But I feel like I'm just gonna get in there and be rusty and not know anything and die a bunch.
I will give you my little from Dark Souls. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I had a death counter and all that stuff, and it's like war flashbacks right now. I got to the Minotaur, the very beginning of the Minotaur, beat him, and I'm like, oh sweet, I beat a boss. They're like, that's a mini boss. I'm like, what? I was like, no, this can't be it. That's a mini boss. They're like, that's a mini boss. I'm like, are you effing kidding me right now? I'm done. I'm done. And then they're like, just play a little bit longer. Got to the boss. I'm like, what is this? I'm not doing this. This is insanity. I'm like, people love that kind of shit though. I don't get it, but hey, rock it, I guess.
I do in a way because I love Bloodborne. Which I hated Bloodborne for a long time, tried it again and then loved it. So I get it, but it's like, to me, because I played Bloodborne first and I know this is influencing everything.
Right.
Bloodborne just feels like such a better game than Dark Souls 3, which is the one I've played.
Yeah.
So like, to me, I have to bite my tongue and be like, okay, I know people like this game more than Bloodborne. Some people just like Dark Souls more than Bloodborne. I can't be like super like this game is trash because I know some people really love it.
Yeah.
But to me, like, there's so many weird mechanics and gimmicks going on that I didn't understand. That it was a lot more complex and I couldn't get into it as much.
Yeah. Okay, so I popped your little thing on my stream, and it says that you played Breath of the Wild last. How do you like the game? I love it, but I want your opinion on it.
Breath of the Wild's great. So I played a little bit of it. I played up to like the first Divine Beast. Whenever it first came out, or whenever I first got a Switch, it was like 6 months later after it came out. And for whatever reason, I don't even remember really. I just stopped playing it. I was just like, I started playing some other game or something else, just grabbed me more or whatever. And it's one of those games that I've seen so many friends play, like Chillbo Baggins, a good friend of mine. She's played through it all. And I've watched so many people play and it seems so fun that I was like, you know what? I gotta give it another try. And it's another one of those things of like, I've seen this community of this game be really nice. And after Bloodborne community was awesome, Dark Souls was hit or miss. With like the people coming in and like people being nice and people being not nice. So I was like, I've seen this community be nice. It's something I can chill with. It seems very much more my speed. I'm gonna try it. And I think I just did my 18th stream of the game. Like I'm really deep into it and I love it. It's very rare that a game will just like give you a magical sense. Like that's the word I always use to describe that game. It's like it's magical, which is a very like not an oft used word for me. Like I don't normally describe things that way, but it's got something just beautiful to it. And there's like so much discovery and, oh, I didn't think about using it this way, or I wonder if I could do this. Oh, it let me. And like that game is very good about letting you try pretty much any idea you can have. So I love stuff like that where I can just almost try to break puzzles and like see if I can, cheat my way into getting to the end quicker or things like that. So I love that game dearly.
I accidentally within my first 3 streams of that game somehow made it into the castle and made it to Ganon and like Calamity Ganon. I walked in and I was like, oh no, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here at all. And I'm like, I only had like 4 hearts, didn't have any master sword, had a bunch of crap ass swords. And I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die like right now. Like there's no heckin' way I'm gonna get this. And I think I got like 3 hits on him and then he just obliterated me. I was like, cool, I'm never doing that again. Doing that again. That game was that the first game that I bought the Switch, and I think that might have been the first game I played with the Switch. That game blows my mind. I'm so happy. Do you feel like it is the reason people buy that system?
I think it's a definite. I would say the reason people buy it is kind of hard, especially now with like Smash. I'd say a lot of people have picked up Switches within the past year because of the Pokemon game. Because I know a lot of people personally who had never played a Pokemon game, played Pokemon Go, and were like, Pokemon Let's Go looks awesome. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna pick up a Switch. I know like several people just who I know in the community who have done that. But I would say when it first came out, absolutely, because they were released together, right? Like the Switch and Breath of the Wild came out. For me, I didn't buy it until Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay.
And I would say that's another big motivator.
Oh my god, yes.
now Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are out. There's enough reason to buy this kind of risky console at the time. Like I don't know if I'm gonna love it or hate it, but there's a great Mario game on it and a great Zelda game on it. Let's pick it up. So
right.
I would say, yeah, I mean it was a huge system seller, but I would say those two games are like the tent poles of the Switch library.
I'm gonna shameless plug if anyone wants to play with me on the Switch. There's my friend code. Check it out. Use that.
There you go.
No, I really love I love the Switch. It's such a good system, and I used it like constantly. I feel like that was my I was like very hesitant about buying it. I didn't really want to pull the trigger on it. And then I bought it and I'm like, I'm so glad I bought this. Like, this is so much fun to use. And I'm stoked to take it with me to Cali this year because it's well worth having. Like, it's definitely a time waster though. I'll play Tetris 99. I'm like, why am I playing this game? Why am I playing this? It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah. Someone had asked me if I was going to buy Dark Souls and Skyrim on there. And I was like, I will not buy Dark Souls on the system because I do not want to break that system.
Stop it now.
Yes, please. And then the Skyrim, if it wasn't $60, I probably would buy it. Now, be honest. But what are some games that you're looking forward to on the Switch?
For Switch specifically, I guess like the next one is Mario Maker 2. Okay. I never got a chance to play Mario Maker. I never had a Wii U.
Yeah, me either.
And I love Little Big Planet. Like Little Big Planet 1 and 2 are like some of my favorite games or favorite platformers ever. And it's basically just Mario Little Big Planet, and it just sounds like a great time. So I'm really excited for that. I know like so many. I've never played an Animal Crossing game.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So many of my friends are like fervent for that game. So I'm just like excited because they're excited. And then Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like I've played pretty much every Pokemon game, so I'm really excited for an actual console Pokemon game. I think that'll be really fun.
All right, I'm going to ask you the question about Pokemon then. Which one is your favorite? Not the Pokemon itself, but the actual game. Which one did you play the most?
Like of all the games that have come out, the Pokemon games. Probably Fire Red or Red, Fire Red. Like those two. I remember having Fire Red on my Game Boy Color and playing it as a kid so much. And that's the one Pokemon game that I like revisit. Like I'll just during summer or something, I'll just be like, all right, I want something to play for the day. I'm gonna see how far I can get in like Pokemon. I say my light. So it's between that and like Gold and Silver, and then if you count like Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Oh yeah.
Those first two generations for me, I was playing like nonstop. Because that was definitely when I was a kid and I could get like one game for my birthday. And so I was like, all right, this is a good game because I can play it forever. But yeah, those are definitely the two I played most.
Do you are you looking forward to Sword or Shield? Which one are you picking up?
I mean, probably Sword. It's hard to. I've seen some people on Twitter like diehard Pokemon Shield people, and I'm like, you go, but like the Sword one looks so much cooler.
Yes,
like that is just a cooler character design than just Shield face. Like it's just a dog with a sword in its mouth. It's that Dark Souls boss. It's awesome.
Shield gang for life.
Shield gang. Like I like that people are into the Shield, but it's just like Sword.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the Sword. I had a friend of mine who used to pick up both versions every time. When Black and White came out, he picked up both. When Black and White 2 came out, he picked up both. And I'm like, why do you buy both? He's like, because I want both the legendaries. I'm like, just go online and find them. I don't know, like use a Game Shark, anything. I'm like, why would you spend $120 on two games together? That's absurd. I think Pokemon is the last game that Nintendo needed next to Animal Crossing, but they've already promised Animal Crossing, of course. That's the last game that they needed to tentpole this system into existence and keep it here for a long time. Animal Crossing is like, that's just like icing on the cake. And I'm telling you, if you've never played Animal Crossing before, just pick up Animal Crossing Pocket Camp and play that for a bit and kind of get your whistle wet with that, and then move into playing actual Animal Crossing. I promise you will not be upset you spent the money.
Yeah, I've I've just been playing Stardew Valley for the first time too.
Oh yeah.
And I really love it. And people are like, don't worry, you'll like Animal Crossing. It'll be fine. And I was like, okay, because I'm very worried about that game for some reason. Like I like not that it won't be great because I know those games are awesome. I just like I don't know if it's gonna click with me.
Right.
It scares me because people love it so much. And I'm like, oh god, if it doesn't click with me, like people are gonna hate me for not liking Animal Crossing. But because I like Stardew, people seem to be pretty set on the fact that I'll like Animal Crossing.
They'll be outside your place with pitchforks and you know, torches, like get him. Yeah,
exactly.
The Animal Crossing I think is a good game to just literally put on some chill music, relax, and like and enjoy like building a town. And you know, just like Stardew Valley, it's very chill. It's very like you can play it on a Sunday afternoon and you know, not even give a crap like what's going on, because you could be, you know, farming for 3 hours and not even real, and you like look up, you're like, oh shit, it's dinner time. Like you don't even pay attention. Exactly, you know, I love that. And I've been playing My Time in Portia, which is kind of like Stardew Valley and Animal. It kind of gives me that feel of like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. And it's definitely worth it. Like it's those kind of games you kind of need to pull back and not be, you don't have to be high strung. It's just very chill, very relaxed time. What are some things that you're looking forward to in 2019 that you want to accomplish for your stream?
Well, I set some goals. I always do this this has been going for the last couple of years, that I set like a bunch of just number goals. Okay. I'm like, if I could hit this would be awesome.
Yeah.
The follower one was 2,000 followers. We hit that within the first 3 months of the year.
That's awesome.
It was a pretty bizarre like turnaround. Because I was at like 12 or 1,300 in January, and by like March it was at 2,000. It's crazy.
It's been 7 years, Dorm. Yeah.
As far as like other goals for the stream, I just want to like keep at it. Like I'm at the point now where it's like the stream is growing. It's been really cool to see that and see like, you know, community members keep showing up and like new friends who like there's a person in stream who I met like 2 months ago, and I don't think she's missed a stream. Like she's been at every stream, and it's like that's crazy that someone I've known for that little amount of time theoretically has been so like supportive of the stream. So that's the sort of stuff I look forward to. There's no like, all right, I mean I do set those goals, but it's almost just like to earmark myself of like, all right, if I hit that, it's been a good year.
Yeah.
Or if I hit, you know, this amount of Twitter followers or whatever, it's just something to go for, right? Like it's just something to keep in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But I've already blown past the Twitch one, so now it's just like I'm just gonna enjoy myself and meet new friends and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. And I wanted to kind of revisit what you just said about having, you know, the follower that comes back every stream. Do you find that it's mind blowing to see people come to see just to come watch you play games still?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I was talking about this either last night or a few nights ago, whenever it was. And I was just like, it's still weird to me that people spend time hanging out with me.
Yeah.
Like that is something I don't know if it'll ever, maybe it'll normalize itself, but like, I still very much consider myself, like I'm from a small Kentucky town. Like I'm a relative nobody in my head. And so it's like this weird thing of like, people are coming back over and over again. Like, you know, you rationally think like I must be doing something right, but I'm also just like, why are you back here? Like, don't you have better things to do? There's so many better streamers on Twitch. Like, go hang out with them. So it's bizarre. It's one of the most like complimentary but strange things about Twitch is like if people keep showing up and keep coming back and then like become community members and not just someone who's there for a stream. That transition is always just really breathtaking and bizarre to think about.
Yeah, I like thinking about the fact that, you know, when they come back, you're like, man, this person's like a friend, like a true family member of mine at this point. Like,
oh yeah,
I see more of my stream friends than I see my actual like in real life friends, people that I've known forever.
Sure.
And I'm like, so how you been? And then I go and see like my real friends, like my friends outside, you know, in real life, and I'm like, we haven't talked in like 4 months. I'm like, what? Right. What's going on with you? How you been? How's your family and stuff and things? But I like with my stream friends, I'm like, dude, so how was that job interview? What's going on with that? What's going, you know, like,
right.
It's a weird dynamic where you can get to that point. Do you feel that it's weird to see like right now as a quote unquote smaller streamer, you're able to contact and talk to your whole community. Would it be absurd to you or weird to you when you get to that point where you almost can't read stream, the comments and stuff like that?
I don't know if it would be weird. I mean, it's definitely like, it seems impossible right now, and not from a point of like, I don't think that the growth is possible, I don't believe in myself or anything like that. It's just one of those things of like, that seems so far out of reach that I don't know. I've definitely like missed things before. Like I'll definitely just miss a comment every now and then. But normally I try to read everything and try to say hello to everybody and all that kind of stuff. Like I've definitely been in streams, like my buddy Nega Oryx, like her stream is just ridiculous all the time. Like there's just like just crazy amount of chat, and she does an amazing job of reading it. Chilbo Baggins, another friend of mine, she like crushes it. Like she'll read stuff from 5 minutes ago that I think like, oh, there's no way she saw that, and then she'll go back and read it, and I'm just like, that's impressive. So I've definitely seen people who you wouldn't think be able to read everything do a pretty damn good job of it. And I would like to think that maybe I could pull that off if the case arrived, but no, it's not something that I see for myself in the near future. So it's one of those things that I've never really been put much thought to, of like, what happens if I can't read everything? Well, I'll just read as much as I can. And I think it just becomes that.
I like being able to read everyone's stuff, because I feel bad if I miss something. I'm like, should I miss that? Because I'll play Just Dance, and there's times where I'm not paying attention to the chat for like 10 minutes, just because I'm dancing, I'm jumping up, I have to run to the bathroom, grab some water, come back, and I'm like, what did I miss? Oh shit, sorry. Like I'm like that in the back of my head. I'm like, if I don't read this comment, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to this person who came in to talk to me. When you I'm gonna kind of jump back in your timeline a little bit. When you started off streaming, did you focus more on the numbers, or did you focus more on the content?
I would say probably neither when I first started. It was just I'm gonna, like I said, it was a very lax, like I'm just gonna do whatever I want kind of thing. I would say I probably started focusing on content first, and I would say that's something I've always focused on. Numbers are interesting to look into. I love like sports stats, so it's always cool to just like see a graph of followers go up or average viewers or whatever. But at the end of the day, like if your content's there, then ideally and theoretically, like the people will come to see it. So I've always sort of focused more on content. I think that's the safe thing. Like I know really big streamers who don't look at viewer count; they just have it hidden. And so like I think that's sort of telling of, they don't need to know if there's 70 people or 100 people or 250 people. They just know if they're doing what they're doing and they know their community really well, then they'll be fine. So I kind of like that mindset. I keep an eye on it because I'm nosy, but other than that, like it's just one of those things of just I try to be the same consistent person and streamer I always am, and if people come, great. If not, okay.
Fine. I wish that I could turn it off on my Streamlabs chat bot, because that's like the one thing that I can like hide most shit on here, but I can't hide the number, which frustrates me, because it's just like, I don't really care. To me, I could stream to an empty room, or I could stream to 50 people. I don't give it. Now I'm going to be more nervous with 50 people because I don't want to screw up and say something stupid. But at the same time, every person counts to me. I feel like it's not, if you have one person in chat, that one person took their time out to see you. So that's perfect. Like, that's awesome. I feel like if you have 50 people and you are still worried about like numbers and stuff like that, this might not be your game yet. You might have good content and might keep people around, but if you're constantly going, damn, what are my numbers at? What are my numbers? It's like, it'll nitpick you to death, and I feel like what ends up happening is it keeps you awake at night. That's not okay. Like, that's just not cool.
And I think too, a lot of people don't realize that, like, yes, streams are maybe the most like fleeting piece of content you can ever create. Like I know you can VOD things and clip things, but I know streams are mostly in the moment. But like some of my funniest clips or things that have gotten a tons of like on Twitter or votes on Reddit or whatever, they might happen in a stream of 5 people. So like if you become the same person, or if you're the same streamer, you create the same content no matter who's there, then that will end up being representative of your stream if it goes well. So I think a lot of people sort of correlate like viewers with value, which is something that I try not to do, and I don't think streamers should, because there's so much more intrinsic value that you can find in your stream other than just like, oh, 20 people are watching me right now, I got to be on, or someone just rated really big. And of course, it's natural to want to welcome people well, like I mentioned that earlier. But
right.
at the same time, like you should be true to yourself. Otherwise, it's going to be weird when that person who came in with a 70-person raid is now there when there's 15 people there and you're different. So I think as long as you're consistent, like I said, the numbers will come and go. It's very fleeting.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like your content is gonna reign supreme, right? Content's king. So
yeah. When you were starting off, not starting off, but like when you started to get serious with the streaming,
sure.
What was some of the things that were kind of vital to your growth on the platform?
I would say this one I could go on for a while.
Go for it.
So one of the big things about like me sort of getting serious or refining my love with Twitch was meeting Team Liddy. She worked at a place that I interned with in college. So we met IRL. She was thinking about starting streaming, and her excitement for the idea of starting streaming sort of made me think like, man, that does sound fun. I used to stream. Can I do this now? Right? Like, can I get into streaming? So she and I almost hand in hand built a community together because we were streaming together so often. Or if I wasn't streaming, I would host her, and vice versa. And we still have that really tight knit community amongst the two of us.
Yeah.
But that was something that was certainly very key, and I understand is not maybe doesn't apply to people everywhere. Another thing was just like enjoying streams, watching streams, and both finding out what I like from streams and also just meeting people.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's so many times I could go into a stream and the streamer would be like, oh, hey, Dorm, what's up? Can we get a shout out for Dorm? And that stuff matters. Like people giving their seal of approval is a great way to find new streamers if you're looking for people to find, and also a great way if you're a streamer to sort of be brought into a community. Or if you're there, 5 or 6 times out of a month or whatever, and you start being there more often and you're just hanging out, not trying to promote your stream, be like, hey, I just got done streaming or anything like that, just hanging out. Then people will maybe start seeing you in other places. I can't think of how many times right now where I will go into somebody's chat, see somebody's name, and think like, oh, hey, I've seen you before. And they'll go into someone else's chat and they'll still be there. And I'll be like, hey, I know you, you do this. And if they give a shout out, it's like, well, damn, they definitely have the same taste in communities that I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to check them out. So that was a great tool for me, like, and still is, frankly, for meeting new people and finding new friends. And I know people refer to it as networking, and that sort of applies. I get it, but it's really about being genuine in that. I've not really ever gone into a stream and been like, all right, I'm going to show up and I'm going to say something every stream for a month, and then I will be networked. And because people can tell. If anyone's been streaming for a long time, I've definitely have the people who will pop into chat and say like, hey, how's it going? And then leave.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, I see what you're playing at. Like I get it.
Yeah.
And fair shot, I guess, but also like, people will recognize that versus someone who's in there just to hang out or maybe lurks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to discern the difference. So, I think one of the huge things is what people like to call networking. For me, in marketing, networking is something very different, where it's like, all right, I'm going to meet this client and their client's client, and maybe that can get. So to me, networking is far more like serious and less enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can go to social events and things like that, but I don't really refer to it as networking. I just like find friends, and that's a great way that early on I met new people.
Yeah, no, I like that. I agree with you. When it comes, I don't like calling it networking either. I think it's very impersonal. And it turns into like a thing. I really, when it comes to people that I want to hang out with, or people that I have common interests on Twitch with, we all play video games. We all are streamers. If you're not a streamer and you're just a person who enjoys being on the platform, cool. Like, we're still friends. I'm not gonna not be friends with you because you're not a streamer and I can't benefit off of this. Like that's something that bothers me. And I think you're right. The when it comes to popping into people's streams and just like, hey, well, that doesn't, if you're not even a bigger streamer. If you've been on the platform for more than a year, you can spot and smell the people who just want to come in to get a shout out. And I don't mind shouting my friends out. I don't, because I'll bring up people in conversation. Like if I'm like, oh yeah, you should check out this person. You should. Oh, you like this kind of content? I know someone who does that. You should check out this person. Yeah. You like Hawaiian shirts? You should check out DormStreams. Just do it. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's stuff like that. I feel like, when it comes to the content, it's super interesting to see when people come in and they're like, hey, how you doing? And you're like, I'm good. All right. And then they disappear. Like, that's all they wanted. Okay, cool. And then the people who are genuine, there's people I didn't even know who streamed, who were like, yeah, I stream. I'm like, you stream? When? I need to see this. Like, I need to see this, because I need to go onto your channel. I want to check your clips. I want to see what you did, because I want to know what the hell what games do you play? When do you stream? Right. I need to know. Like, that's the thing, if you go into a relationship or something with someone on Twitch and you expect something out of it, you're doing it completely wrong. And
I agree.
That at that point, if I find that that's all you want out of me, we might not be friends anymore. I don't like that. Like, my whole thing is that if you can be cool with someone and not have anything to do with the streaming part, like what kind of movies do you like to watch? Well, let's talk about that. I don't give a shit what games you play. Do you stream? I don't really give a shit. What movie do you enjoy watching? Cool. Right. Let's talk about that first. That's the first thing. Yeah. That's the first hurdle. And then we get over that and let's go to the next thing, Eventually it'll come around to the fact that one of us streams or whatever the case may be, and that's fine.
Right. You'll find that out. Yeah. Right. And like, I think it's really important in that sort of aspect. Is like, you don't even know how like just being a friend and being around is going to benefit you. I've told this story a number of times, but it feels pertinent.
Go for it.
So I was in a buddy of mine, the Sonic Flame. I was in his chat one day. I was at work. He was playing Skyrim, and one of his mods like really made me laugh. And I was like, I didn't know who she was, and I was just like, we were goofing about something that Sonic was doing with his character, and we made this whole like fake morning radio show up, and it was just like goofing in chat, right? Like I didn't know who they were.
All right.
And so like I was just in there hanging out. I thought that this person was funny. I followed him on Twitter. They followed me back. And so every now and then when I would show up, like she would just, we would just chat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like a few weeks later, she tweets us like, all right, I'm going to start streaming finally. Like I'm excited to do it. And so I showed up because, we were buddies in Sonic's chat.
Yeah.
And she's partnered now. That's Chilbo Baggins. So
nice.
So like I was friends with her based on the fact that we got along.
Yeah.
And now like she is one of my like closest friends on Twitch, and she's absolutely crushing it. And like, it's just one of those things is you never know when something is going to quote unquote benefit you.
Right.
If you just make friends, then something might come back in a way that you never expect. Like I've met so many friends through Chilbo and like hanging out with Chilbo and her like really graciously rating and things like that. So it's really funny that you never really know when just like being a good person or being friends with people is going to benefit you. I live by the mantra and pretty much everything that like a rising tide brings up all ships, right? Like, if I'm doing well and you're doing well, then we'll do well together.
Yeah.
And so I've never been one to like try and keep people down in that aspect. And like, you never really know whose ship may rise next. So like making friends on Twitch is easy to like try to militarize it and make it like, all right, I'm going to make friends with this person who has a check by their name, or I'm going to make friends with this person who's doing a partner push or whatever. But at the end of the day, that's pretty easy to see through, and your friends are your friends. And if you find places you like hanging out, then you'll probably find a spot in that community somewhere.
Yeah. I like the my whole thing is that when you were a kid, and you wanted to like draw with another kid, you had a coloring book, and they had really cool crayons, or they had really cool markers that smelled really nice, except for the black marker, which smelled like just shit. Don't ever smell the black markers, they're horrible. Anyways, that's a sidebar. That's a whole tangent I can go on, I promise you. But anyways, if you really wanted to use those smelly markers on your sweet, drawing or whatever, and you ask them and they let you have them for whatever time, that was an agreement that you wanted to play with them and talk to them and hang out with them, and you became friends because of that kind of stuff. And then you could be friends for years just off of that one thing. Use that same mentality now. Just be older. That's it. You like that thing? I like that thing. You like anime? I like anime. You like pizza? I love pizza. I mean, like, that's just it. That's all you need. Don't make it about streaming. Don't make it about, the fact that you want to boost your content creation or you want to boost your numbers, because it'll bite you in the ass. It will. It might not
so transparent.
Right. And it might not happen automatically. It might not happen, but that person will figure it out, and they're just gonna be like, "Nah, I'm not about that. I'm not about that life." Right. So when you were building your stream up and whatnot, did you feel like it was a goal to get to a partner kind of type of thing, or are you still kind of like in that mindset of like it's still just a chill dorm stream?
I definitely more the latter. Like, partner is one of those things of like, some people come and chat like, oh, any day now you'll be, people are very kind about that kind of thing. But that's something that I think if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, fine. Like, it's not something that I've been like, all right, we got to get a partner in 6 months. I could never imagine myself doing like a partner push.
Yeah.
I know that works great for some people and that's awesome. That's just not my style. I think that like, I'm very lucky that my community is very generous with their time and like subs and things like that. So I'm doing just fine as far as that goes. And I'm very thankful that my community allows me to do that.
Yeah.
But as far as like having a check by my name, I'm very happy for people when they get it. I know it means a lot to everybody, and it would mean a lot to me. I don't want to downplay it. But at the same time, it's like, that is something that I feel like will happen if I'm doing other things right. I don't think there's anything that I could focus on and be like, all right, I got to go after the check. What do I do? Because I don't think I would do anything differently. I think, I'm growing at a really cool rate right now, and I'm very lucky in that regard. And I'm sure things will plateau and dip, and that's fine.
All right.
But like, I don't think that I could even approach it to a point of like, all right, I got to get partner in 6 months. Let's start now. What am I doing? Because I don't know what I would do.
Right.
I don't know what I would do any differently. So partner is one of those things that, it's a really cool goal to have, and it's a really cool like accomplishment. But I think that's more of a reward at the end of the road instead of like something that you should pursue.
Right.
Like, I've seen people who have just come up and gotten partner because of like how much they're kicking ass, and it's not really anything of like, all right, they started out and saying, okay, I'm gonna get partner in 6 months.
Right.
So not to be too repetitive, but like,
no, you're good.
Be like, the idea of partner is very, very satisfying, right? It's like being verified on Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that check's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, like, your stream is going to be your stream no matter what. I've seen so many people like get the partner and then like reset exactly what their values are. Like, they try to focus themselves toward partner, and then they're like, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
Like, this is not fun for me. I'm going to reset. And then they drop back down to more of like affiliate numbers or whatever. And that's totally fine for them. And so it's never been something that I'm like, all right, I got to go for partner.
All right. Do you feel like the since you've been on Twitch before the affiliate program, do you feel that the affiliate program has been something that's been helpful or something that's hindered people?
I think it's super helpful. Again, this comes back to the sort of rising tide brings up all ships thing. I know a lot of partners not a lot. I know a vocal minority of partners were sort of, agitated at the idea of it. And there's always that rumbling that comes out when the two things sort of come together and get a little bit closer, and, partners don't have as many special things that they used to have or whatever.
Right.
But I think it's great. I honestly, from a business standpoint, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Oh yeah.
People are able to make a lot more money for Twitch than they were before that happened.
Yeah.
So I think it makes a ton of sense business wise, and it also allows people to sort of have a much, I won't say easier, but more attainable goal. Because partner, when you're starting out, partner seems like miles away, right?
Of course.
And so affiliate has still pretty, pretty easily attainable, not easily, pretty attainable goals if you really focus on it.
Yeah.
To reach that level and be able to get, your first few subscribers and then sort of get that going. If that's something you want out of the platform. So
yeah.
I think it's a super good thing to have. I think it allows a lot of people to grow their community and, get people coming back and get people subbing, because it was really hard. I wouldn't say it was really hard, but it was definitely more difficult to not have anything to offer as far as subs and emotes and
Right.
bits and all these things go before affiliate. It was just like, oh, hey, I'm here. What's up? You want to hang out? Where now, like, you have things to give back to the community as far as, if you give, instead of just donating $5, which you could do whenever,
Yeah.
you could sub for $5 and now you get all these cool emotes and all these things. So I think it makes a lot more sense from both sides, from the business side of Twitch and from like the community side of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the business side of them, they're like, give me the money, just give me the, and it's fine.
I mean, it makes sense.
Papa Amazon wants the money. I'm gonna give Papa Amazon part of my money. I don't care. I like the emotes thing. That's one thing that I feel is a great aspect for any affiliate. Because it's an extension of themselves. Because what I really I find that if I like someone's emotes, there's times where I don't watch their stream very much, but I'll still subscribe just because I really, really love their emotes. I have what, 4 people I subscribe to, and 2 of them I don't regularly go into their stream, but I fucking love their emotes, and I constantly am using their emotes because they're just that good. And then what ends up happening is you'll go into someone else's stream, use that emote, and then they'll be like, oh, whose emote is that? Oh, I can check it right now. That is the coolest shit that they did really cool for Twitch. They're like, oh, you can check people's emotes and you can go to their channel and check out their channel now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, Twitch, just keep doing things good for me, please. Thank you. Just keep doing it.
I've even like met streamers that I hang out with now. Through emotes. Like Tori Wood's a good example. She is great, but like I only really heard about her through Twitter and things like that, and like everybody was using her emotes and they were awesome, and I was just like, all right, I gotta check this out. These emotes are too cool. And like that was enough, and now I'm like buddies with Tori. And so it's one of those strange things of like, there's so many different ways roads can lead back to a streamer, and like emotes are a really big one that people may not realize. So
yeah, and I think what ends up happening is people really just they fall in love with not only the streamer but every bit of their content, which includes their emotes. So it's good. It's a good thing for promoting themselves without, because you can go into a stream and of course the rules, the unwritten rules are don't promote your stream, but if you use your own emotes and you have like a really kick-ass killer emotes, it's a real silent way of saying, hey, I stream, just because, and like that's fine. It's not a bad thing to use your own emotes. I'm okay with that. No,
I think it's fine.
If you blow my chat up with your own emotes, go for it. I love seeing new emotes because I think it's like a brand new shirt or a brand new pair of shoes. You always want to look at the brand new shoes or whatever. Right. And I feel like it's just nice to see someone's new emotes on a chat. When it comes to your community, do you feel that they influence you or you influence them?
I would say it's to cop out of and give a third answer. I would say it's probably 50-50 because I think now, I was talking about this the other night too with the trolls discussion. It's like I sort of focused on positivity throughout what I do, but then like that really started showing itself once I sort of shifted back from multiplayer to single player. And when I shifted, like it seemed like the community became much nicer and like much more about that because I was being more positive. So we were starting to reflect each other, and I think that still happens, especially like if a troll comes in or whatever, and a lot of times I may be in a cutscene or whatever, I'm focusing on the game, and chat will have lambasted and roasted them, and or just like been like, who the hell are you, get out of here kind of thing. Or people will also like welcome other people in. Hey Taj, what's up? And so like there's that great aspect of like I can not say anything and someone will pop in and everybody will be like, oh hey, what's up, how are you doing, good to see you, how's your day, without me even seeing the person in chat. So I think the community absolutely influences me just as much as I influence them. I would like to think that I played some role in sort of the positive nature of the stream,
Yeah.
but now it's very easy for me to be positive when stream is so positive and when chat's like so happy and not, maybe not happy, but just like overall positive and, you know, thankful and nice. And so I think that definitely is a cyclical thing.
Yeah, I like the idea that when it comes to your stream or it comes to your community at large, that you know, they're an extension of you, but you're an extension of them, because you know, if you're super positive and you're super upbeat, then they're gonna feed off that and they're gonna turn into a super upbeat, positive, you know, force. And then then you set them upon all of Twitch and be like, spread my word of positivity right now. Let's go.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's contagious, I think. You know, if you I was watching your clips before stream, because this is what I do right before I start a podcast. I mean, of course I have a set list of questions that I usually try to ask people, but I also I try to take on every bit of your content or whoever's content that so I was watching your clips and I'm like, your laugh is fucking contagious. You were laughing. You weren't just like laughing. It was just like you were laughing so hard. It was like from your toes laugh. And I that right there was like something I was like, I gotta keep watching these clips, because it was like, oh, I like this one, and then I went to the next one. I'm like, shit, I gotta go to the next one, and I just
all of my top clips are just my laugh in some regard.
Yes,
it all works out to that. And I got like, I guess I got super lucky that I have a good laugh. So I don't know how that worked out, but yeah, like I will just get cracked up at things, and then that like that sort of just influences everybody, and we're all starting to laugh. And then somebody might like, there's the occasional time where someone will just drop something so funny in chat that I just like stop what I'm doing and get broken by it. And so my laugh is a weird tool for me, I guess, to bring in new people or for convince people to stay around. But like at the end of the day, it's just my laugh. Like I can't help it. That's the way it is. I think it's a little obnoxious, but some people seem to get a kick out of it. So
it's always good to have a nice, like a good belly laugh to the point where you're like almost crying, because that shit is that is what life is all about. If you can't laugh at yourself or laugh at just ridiculous stuff going on, like what's life worth living? Okay, why is Dorm so cute though? That's what hey, I didn't say it, Pudgy said. I'm just responding. I don't know, pretty sure it's everything. It's the whole package. Breaking Dorm is a channel hobby.
That's true. Yeah, people really like trying to crack me up, or people have now started to learn patterns of me, where like if something starts to get me giggly, then people will double down and triple down to the point where I'm just like crying. There's something actually sort of born from just people liking my reactions to the things. We've started doing a thing called Wacky Wednesday, which is not an original idea as far as like what we're doing, but we're basically just watching memes and laughing at them.
Okay.
And like that is all fueled by my stupid laugh. If something gets me, then like that's made it a worthy Wacky Wednesday. And it's like my seal of approval, because sometimes some stuff will just get me, and it just makes my day better. And apparently other people like to laugh too. So
no, it's I like the aspect of having like a theme for every time you stream. It's something that's that kind of drives the streams, because some people are like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it to this stream, but Wacky Wednesday, I'm definitely making it to Wacky Wednesday. Like I need to make it to Wacky Wednesday. There's people that don't show up to my streams except for Thursdays, which are usually throwback Thursdays, where either we'll be watching old clips of something like from back in the day, you know, on YouTube, or I have them song request. They're the DJs for the whole night, and that shit is ridiculous, because they'll be like, oh hey, I have this song that's like an obscure ass song from YouTube's Underbelly, and I'm like, play it. I don't care. How old is it? 10 years old? Let's go. I want to see this shit, you know? And I think that if you can continue with that kind of stuff, it definitely grows your community to the umpteenth degree, just because the people circle around shit like your laugh, or, you know, like I said, like a Wacky Wednesday. They come in purely for that shit. They want to come see that your reaction to whatever meme they decided to throw at you that day.
Yeah, the craziest example of that is DWL. So I started I'm a huge wrestling fan, always have been. And I sort of had this idea and sort of formulated the idea with Liddy of putting certain community members into the latest WWE game
Mm-hmm.
and like writing the storylines and like giving them entrances and move sets. And I don't wrestle. I just let the computer do it and I just play commentating. And it's enough work on its own just to commentate the matches. But that has become such a thing of its own. It's bizarre. Like that is a big motivating factor for people to stop by on Sundays. Like I've had so many people tell me like I hate wrestling, but I love DWL. Like it's one of the wackiest things about the stream. It's like my baby because it's something to bring people in at the end of the week, just kind of chilling. And then we all laugh at the silliness. And sometimes there's glitches, and sometimes they're incredible moves that you would never see in real life, and things like that. So it's a really fun time. But that's probably the biggest example I've seen of that, of like people just come in and it's like, hey, when's DWL this week? Like, what time are we starting? Are there any new ads or whatever? I think we started out with like a roster of like 5 people, and now it's up to like 20 something.
Wow. That's awesome.
Just community members, like nobody else. I've created that many characters in that game. But it's a really good time. And that's one example of that I've seen, of just like people coming back for a specific thing.
That's awesome. Yeah. To jump on the back of the wrestling thing, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I used to be when I was a kid, a huge wrestling fan, but I've noticed a lot of people coming from the wrestling community for like wrestling talk on whatever day. They have like Monday Night Raw. Then they have like, after that, they have an entire talk show about wrestling. I'm like, what is it? Like last year at TwitchCon, it was the last day, I met like 6 or 7 legitimate like professional wrestlers who this is what all they do is they go on stream, and then they talk about the entirety of wrestling for that week. And I'm like, that's fucking genius. That's such an untapped potential that it's like, so seeing someone that's taking that wrestling thing and putting into a completely different, having their community members fight against each other, for the belt, it's a super niche thing, but it's super interesting to see because no one else does that. No one I know does that except for you. Right, and that's cool. That's super cool to see people changing the game on that. Is there any forms of content that you're looking to try out that you haven't tried out?
Usually when I want to do something like that, it becomes a sub goal for something. So for example, I dropped a rap, which is maybe the widest delivery I could ever have of that line. But no, I like for like a few celebration streams ago, I don't remember exactly which one. I've always wanted to try it, and I was like, you know what? I'll make it a sub goal. We'll have a good time with it. And then people liked that one so much that became, the next time was drop a second song, and then the next goal was drop a whole mixtape, which I'm working on. So like stupid things like that are always, it's a great way for me to be able to try stuff.
Yeah.
And it still makes sense in the grand scheme of things of like, all right, y'all wanted it, we can try it now. Those trying to got a left field. But no, I normally give myself pretty much as much creative freedom as I want. I've tried things and not had them work. I've tried things and really enjoyed them. And so it's really just whatever I want to try. I let myself in some regard, if the community allows it anyway.
You should name the mixtape Dad Bod.
that is a line in the first song. So
boom.
Yeah, I don't know what the mixtape's gonna be called yet. But totally, I've definitely planned it all yet. No, I've written like 4 songs now, I think.
That's
I don't know how many songs it's gonna be, but it's fun. I have a SoundCloud to promote jokingly now.
Oh jeez.
So if I ever have a tweet blow up, I will actually drop my SoundCloud, which is really funny. But it's all in jest and it's all silly. I'm not gonna make it as a rapper, of course, but it's a fun little thing for me to do and have people just kind of bop along to it. So
don't ever say never, because Little Dicky does his thing and he's pretty legit. I'm not gonna lie, that man has got some bars, and I've never.
Oh yeah, for sure. His freestyles are ridiculous.
Yes. My brother was like, you should listen to this guy. His name's Little Dicky. I said, Little what? What is his name? Little Dicky. Okay, let me check him out. And I'm like, now I'm like obsessed with him. Every time he drops a song, I'm like, damn, this thing is shit. Like, this shit is such fire. that like he dropped Earth. I was like, what? Like, and it has a message behind it, and I'm like, this man's amazing. He's straight amazing. Like, I'm trying to think.
I thought Earth was trash, honestly.
What?
But, you know, to each their own. Because like, here's the thing, like, Professional Rapper, the album, like his first album, was really good. He definitely goes for some silly shit and all this, but like, then after that album, he released the Chris Brown song, which not going to get into why that's a bad idea. But then he released like Earth, and it just seems like he's just going to be like the I've got famous friends guy.
Yeah,
and like, you're better than that. You should rap and not sing and do this weird thing. I don't know. It feels like squander potential to me. The message was good, I guess, but I didn't even make it all the way through the song because I was like, okay, I get it. I get the idea. I would never listen to the song again, but that's just for me.
Hey, it's cool. It's fun. No, I agree. The song isn't now if we're going ranking of his songs, definitely not my favorite song. I could definitely name like 2 or 3 that are much better. But seeing his potential as just like his freestyles are redonkulous.
Like he can like freaking what is it called? Russell Westbrook on a Farm. Like that song is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
And so it makes me sad to see like, oh no, you're so much better than this. Like do something else.
Yeah. Is there any people that you if you had a chance, is there any people that you would want to work with professionally?
In a streaming capacity, or are we talking about rap now?
No, I mean a little bit both, I guess. No, I mean if streaming community. Is there any people that you'd like to work with that you haven't had a chance to work with yet?
I would like I would say like Kind of Funny and Greg are like the two one like So for me, I've said now for a while that my bucket list things right now: go to WrestleMania. I've never done that. Go to New York City. I've never done that. And meet Greg Miller. Like those are my 3.
All right.
And so like, and Kind of Funny does so much stuff with like meet and greets and like they've done a thing now where they had a contest open for people to like submit and get on their podcast and things like that. Like, that's one of those really weird, like probably not going to happen in a million years, but maybe kind of things. So that's one of the things that I would just be like, if I'm going to work with someone, quote unquote, I would be that. Other than that, it's like design people that I'd want to work with, like Aaron Draplin and people like that. So that's where my head's at on that question.
No, I like that. I'm gonna let you know, New York is nice. Just be real careful on what hotel you pick. I'm
I'm sure.
Yeah. What was it? What year was it? Probably like 8 years ago. I went to New York and like half-assed, the travel plans. It's never a good thing. Ended up in a hotel that I thought I like, you walked in, you're like, pretty sure someone got murdered in here. I'm almost positive. Like there's like a 99.9% chance someone definitely got murdered in this room. Like it was like that kind of. It was horrible. Like, New York is a beautiful place. Like if you have a chance to go for like 2 days, awesome. It's fantastic. But really plan your shit because it can go real south real fast. So I don't know if I would hate or love that. It's a good place to go to. I would also say Chicago's pretty nice, and
I've been to Chicago a few times.
Okay.
Chicago's cool. Yeah.
Is there any places that you want to travel to that you haven't traveled to except for New York?
I would say like the next big one. I'm not like a huge my family's not like a big like traveling thing. We normally like go to concerts over like taking vacations.
Yeah.
But I would say like Tokyo seems really cool.
Yeah.
I'm not even like, I know nothing about anime, but like just the games culture there, and it's just all of the sights and foods to eat and stuff. I've always said like if I were going to travel abroad, it would be Tokyo and maybe like Rome or somewhere in Italy. Those are the big 2 that I really want to see.
Yeah, I Pudge, I have to disagree with you. I like Chicago. I think Chicago's nice. It just depends on where you go. I wouldn't live there, that's for sure. But I like going there. It's fun. Tokyo would be an interesting, because I'm not really the anime type either, but I feel like it'd be an interesting place to visit for sure. Never been overseas, so that'd be a whole bucket of crazy as it is. With streaming and whatnot, Do you go to conventions at all?
I've never been to a convention at all. Part of that is probably because Kentucky's not really known for its con scene.
Right, right.
There's not really one close to me ever. TwitchCon is something that I feel like would be really fun and interesting, but right now, like the money in that is a lot. Like that's a
Oh yeah.
very expensive trip to go all the way out west with flights and hotels and the tickets and everything like that. So that seems like a 2 or 3 years kind of thing. Maybe I'll be able to go to con, but
Yeah.
right now, no, it's not something that I prioritize. I'm sure they're great and they sound really appealing, but it's just not something I've never had the chance to do really.
I would suggest TwitchCon for sure. I guess I'm speaking from my own experience, but it's fun. But it's also, like I said, like, just like New York, it's the planning. That's the only problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Like buy your tickets ultra early, flights super duper early, and do an Airbnb. That's the bee's knees. That's the way to go.
Yeah,
hotels are shit. They're no fun. Hotels are.
that's true.
Last year they had in San Jose, they had a strike at like 3 of the hotels. So people were like,
no.
yeah, people were like showing up at their hotels and like, yeah, cool, and then they weren't getting like towels or like anything, and they're like, this is shitty. I'm like, I'm in a house like 10 minutes away, and the lady makes me breakfast every morning. I'm like, this is the goal.
Awesome.
That's the golden life. She like left coffee out and like fruit, and she's like, she like write little notes. I'm like, am I at my grandmother's house? Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
This is the best thing ever. Like, it's much more personal at Airbnb for sure.
Sure.
So I have one more. I'm gonna see if I make sure I covered all my questions. So where do you see yourself in 2 years, 2 to 3 years with your content?
Sounds like a job interview. I don't know really. I assume it'll be more the same. I hope to just grow at a consistent rate and keep enjoying this. Like that's the main thing is like the moment it stops being enjoyable, it's probably the moment I stop doing it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't like my day job.
Right.
It's definitely awesome right now, and like if it becomes that, then great. Like that's awesome. But I do this because I enjoy it. So I don't think I really have like a set like, oh, in 2 years I'm gonna be partner or whatever. But I mean, it would be cool to get that, obviously. But just keep growing, keep finding cool people, keep playing neat games, and keep making friends.
I like that. And the other question I have for you, and then I'll ask you the final question, and then I'll get you out of here.
Okay.
So my question is, what do you think is a piece of content that you haven't seen on Twitch that you'd like to see possibly make it onto Twitch?
How do you mean?
So the newest thing that they've implemented on Twitch was a lot of these marathons. And that has been going gangbusters because everyone watches them. But then there's stuff like food streams and these travel streams. What are some things that you could see working well on Twitch that you haven't seen yet?
I think it would be cool. I've always kind of had this thought, and I don't know how it'll work. But doing some sort of like Twitch game show.
Oh,
I
that'd
love
be
game
fun.
shows, and always have. And you kind of see that with like Jackbox is probably the closest thing we get to that on a regular basis. But I think it would be really neat to like have some sort of audience. I'm not smart enough to think of the exactly how I'd play in, but like the chat, similar to the chat controls Pokemon kind of things, where chat controls a course that somebody has to walk or whatever. I think that could be a really cool place just for the internet in general. And just seeing how Twitch would respond to game shows. I would also love to see and I've seen people sort of experiment with this, but sort of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 style things.
Okay.
Where you get like an old copyright free movie, it's in public domain at this point, and you just sit along and watch it and make fun of it. I love Mystery Science Theater 3000. I loved Cheap Seats, which was like a sports-based sort of show that was similar.
Okay.
I love shows like that, and I would love to see that be allowed. I remember asking about it like 3 years ago, and they're like, "No way, that's not happening." And so now it's like maybe it could, because like there's more content on Twitch now, and like just chatting is a thing. And you could kind of make it into a just chatting stream. So I always thought that would be really, really cool to see and be able to do.
I to add on to your whole thing of like the movies, I think with the implementation of sub only streams that they have going on now, I think it would work. I think you could do it. I just don't know if it would be under the same guidelines as as a normal stream. I'm sure you can't, of course you can't be like showing anything that's got copywritten. But if you if you find a non-copywritten movie and you want to watch it with your subs, hell, why not? Make it a sub Sunday thing, make it a whatever. And every Sunday we're going to watch a really ridiculous, cheesy ass old movie, whatever the case may be. If Twitch is allowing it, then lean into it as much as you can, because I think that could turn into something. But I don't know. I'm hoping Twitch doesn't screw people over with this whole sub only thing. I think there's something to it that could be interesting and work well for these streamers. But I also feel like there could be repercussions on these sub only streams too.
Yeah, it seems very risky to me. Probably not from Twitch's side, because they're just looking at there. So Twitch, if you've paid much attention to it, they've slowly been trying to sort of add Patreon style things to their self for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And sort of just trying to like squash the Patreon market with their own site, which makes sense. But this to me feels almost a little too far down that scope. The sub only thing, because it's in a community that's so about growing, right? Like finding new friends and getting new followers and getting new subs, or whatever you want to look at it as. It seems very strange to be like, all right, this one's behind lock and key, see ya. That seems very odd to me, and it doesn't really fit with the core ideas I have for Twitch. Which again, that's what I'm projecting on the company. The company, of course, has its own ideas and its own brand manual that it follows and stuff like that. But it's odd. I don't know if I agree with the idea of sub only streams, but maybe they'll be used in much less egregious ways than I'm picturing them.
Yeah, I think that it's an interesting concept, but I agree. I think that what Twitch is doing is that they're taking the best parts of all these different social medias, and they're like, well, this works for them, it might work for us, and then they try it. Like with the VODs, the fact that you can upload a video now to Twitch, and they're like, we're gonna try to squash YouTube, and you're like, no, you're not doing that. Yeah. You can try, but it's not going to be the same thing. People that go on Twitch for the live content. They don't really care too much about the pre-recorded stuff that someone uploaded. It's a very small piece of content that most people don't pay attention to, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. Keep it around, I guess, if you really, really want to, but it's not needed. It's not something that people are really like thriving for. Like, we need this. They don't really. There's other shit that people want to conquer on Twitch, and then Twitch will be like, but what about, we have new colors for our names? You're like, that's not what we wanted. That's not
right.
Go back to the drawing board.
Pictures are circles now.
Yes, your pictures are circles now. I'm like, oh, right. There's so many issues right now, and you're dealing with that. I'm like, you mother trucker.
I mean, I'm a UI geek, so like it does look better. But at the same time, it's like, all right, but maybe don't make that such a big deal on social.
They're like, you guys know all those issues that we've been having with such and such, and all these things, but we have circles now on our names, and you're like,
no more corners. Everything's fixed.
I'm like, you suck. Well, I recently I had a podcast. What was it, last week? And it's gone. Like, it doesn't even exist on the platform.
That's not good.
Yeah, and I went to like go grab the VOD so I could pull it down so I could edit it and put it onto YouTube. And I'm like, where's the VOD? And so I went through my settings. I'm like, did I change something that could have screwed up the VOD? No, nothing's changed. Contacted Twitch support, no response. And then I'm like, what's going on? What's going on with this? And no response still. So it's been like 5 or 6 days, and still no response from them. It's beautiful.
That sucks.
Yeah. And it's like 2.5 hours of like wasted content. And I feel horrible because I really, really wanted this person to come on, and then it was like, awesome, that's gone now. Thanks, guys.
Right. Yeah.
Appreciate your help. Thanks, Twitch. Was there any platforms that you wanted to try other than Twitch?
I mean, I've done YouTube pretty consistently for the past little while. I like YouTube. I like Twitch more, but I really do enjoy YouTube because I've in the past I've sort of likened it to like Twitch feels more like a marathon, YouTube's more of a sprint, where it's like with Twitch, it's all in the moment. It's all fleeting if you want to look at it that way, but it's all right there as soon as you're doing it. But it's for 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. With YouTube, it's like, all right, you got to be on for 30 minutes or an hour or however long your YouTube videos are. And then it's more work in the back end of editing and doing all that kind of stuff. But I find YouTube really interesting. I find it's a good way to, if nothing else, selfishly sort of make content out of games that I already had that maybe don't have a Twitch community around them.
Right.
So games that I really want to play for stream that I'm like, well, nobody's watching people play the Madagascar game on PS2. Let's do a YouTube video. Really YouTube video I did. And so like, it's things like that. Not that I'm very much like, if you want to play something, play it, enjoy it. Somebody might find you that way. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, nobody's gonna watch the Madagascar PS2 game. That's a great way.
I might watch that. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be interesting.
Right? Yeah. But that's a great way to like get use out of content. And I've like collecting older games and things like that. So, YouTube's really fun. I really enjoy it. I make myself laugh editing it. And that's really like the fun of it. It's like I put things out and hopefully people like them, but me watching myself back and cracking up at a stupid edit I can do or a stupid zoom, that like things you can't really do on Twitch. I mean, you can do it in OBS, but things you can't do in the moment. That's the fun of it for me. So I like publishing stuff. I like just making content, both in the design world and Twitch and YouTube and everything. I just like making.
That's awesome.
So that's a fun avenue for me for sure.
All right. So last question for you for the night. Okay. And I'll get you out of here. My question, I give this question to everyone because I want to see what their response is to it. Everyone differs, so I definitely want to see what you say. Is if you had one piece of advice for oncoming streamers or anyone that's been on the platform who might need a refresher, what would your one piece of advice be?
Can I do like 3?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. So I would say one is learn yourself and be yourself. Like I think if you are a very positive person, I think it's totally okay if all you watch is like toxic streamers or whatever, gimmicky streamers, then if you remain positive, then that will be totally okay.
Yeah.
I think being yourself is super, super important on this platform, being genuine as much as you can. Like I said earlier, we are all ourselves turned up to 11. We're in front of a webcam and speaking into a mic for 6 hours, but being as genuine as possible, I think is really important. Number 2, I would say be as consistent as you can, but it's okay to not want to stream or not be able to or whatever. I definitely have noticed a growth, if that's something that you care about, from saying like, all right, I stream most weeknights around 9 Eastern. Like that's it. I don't have like I only stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday or whatever. That's usually my schedule.
Yeah.
But even from that, people know, okay, well, it's this time at night. I wonder if Dorm's on. And that has really helped. And that's something I only noticed after watching people who had that kind of schedule. And third, it's just like, have fun. I know that's such a weird thing to say, and it's ultimately going to reflect your own content if you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching people enjoy things so much more than people who are trying to be wacky or trying to be so edgy or trying to be this thing. Like if you have fun, then people will probably have fun watching you. And
Absolutely.
If you focus on games that are fun for you, and then it'll be fun for the community. Like you shouldn't, maybe if you enjoy Overwatch, then you can make a heck of a time just streaming Overwatch. But also if you enjoy Binding of Isaac or Shovel Knight or Guacamelee or games like that, then play them. There's probably somebody out there wanting to watch it. Like I always have Shovel Knight followed, and sometimes there's 0 people streaming it, but every now and then I'll find somebody who's streaming it, even if they're at 1 or 2 viewers. They're streaming Shovel Knight, and I love Shovel Knight, so I might check it out.
Yeah.
So I would say like focus on having fun with it, and then that will just start reflecting it back at you. So I think that's all I got.
I love it. And say if you have anything else, definitely throw it out there. I really do appreciate you coming by tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah. From one bearded brother to another, I have to have People who look like me, I gotta have him on. It's just, I'm like, at this point, I'm pretty sure we might be, brothers from another mother, but that's fine. That's all good with
We're
me.
a video before and after. We're like, spot the missing image. you gotta find the 5 missing things from.
It's mostly in the shirt, I promise you. So the last thing I do want to ask of you is to shout yourself out or shout out anyone that you feel needs you would like to show the spotlight to.
I mean, you can follow me pretty much everywhere at DormStreams. I'm easy. Follow me on Twitter. That's the best place to follow me because then you'll get everything else. All the other links will go
perfect
there. But follow Team Liddy. It's spelled Lidi Team Liddy. Follow Chilbo Baggins. Follow Cert de Meow. I didn't know I was going to be shouting people out. Follow those 3 and you'll be fine. But you can follow me too if you want at DormStreams. But follow them. They're great. They deserve it. So
that's all I got. That's perfect. No, I like I said, I feel that it's definitely good to have a core friend group, and it seems like you have the chorus of friends, and that's awesome. That's awesome.
The chorus, yes.
The chorus of friends.
Refer to ourselves as.
Yes, you are the core, and they're like the rest of the apple.
Nice.
Yes.
I will tell them that. I'm sure they'll like that, I guess. They're like, what? Like the meat of the apple? What do you call the good part of the apple? What is that? The meat?
Yeah, the meat. I would assume that's the meat of the apple.
Is that what it is?
The only part that I eat is the meat, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I know the outside is like the flesh, right?
Is it? I don't know. I
think apples have flesh, right?
Dude, that makes me feel awkward. I don't want to eat apple flesh. I just want to eat an apple, damn it.
But apple meat's okay? That sounds bad too.
They're all bad. I just call it an apple.
This is a strange diatribe to end on. Like what is the apple called? But there it is.
I'm gonna be on Google later on, diagram of an apple.
Yeah,
My FBI's gonna be like, what the hell is he looking at?
Parts of an apple. Google it. Call up Johnny Appleseed.
It's flesh, you nerds. Yeah.
I said flesh, Boomo.
It's all good. It's all good. We don't need to. I just need to know that an apple a day keeps the doctor away because those doctors are assholes. But like I said before, it's been great having you on tonight. When it comes to streaming, I definitely want to highlight people that I feel are interesting, and you were definitely one of those people that I found interesting.
Well, thank you.
Yes, of course. And it's just good to be able to talk to people who have like minds. So
yeah.
I hope that you have a great night. I hope your community has a great night. Thank you so much for everyone that came through tonight. And I hope you have an awesome stream. And hopefully in the next year or so I could to actually hang out with you at TwitchCon. That'd be sweet. So
yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. We'll take. I will bring at least 1 or 2 of these types of shirts and or better shirts.
Yeah,
and
we'll do a twin photo.
Yes, we'll have the I'll buy 2 shirts and I'll just bring it and then you can wear that. And we purposely did this on accident, guys. On accident.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this one actually is on accident, but that one will be fake on accident.
There you go.
That's good.
All right, man. I have a great night and best to you.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye.
See ya.